Hi, it's Tom here from FDS, and I'm sorry it's been a little while on my YouTube channel again. I've been quite busy with work and I've had a stinking cold and nobody needs to hear me cough for 10 minutes. So while I've been off, I had a little parcel arrive from Troy over at they are the US distributor for these, which are artifact breeches and barrels and darts and other sundry parts. And I've just got to say a big shout out to him for sorting that out. Now, these are not terribly common in Europe, a lot of these parts yet. I'm sure that they will start to become more common. And what I'm going to do is, this is a start of a series. I've got to do a good test. I'm going to put this up against the Orange Modworks Stage 3 Retaliator, which is another sealed breech design. I also want to explore what's going on with the darts. These are the V1 darts. I don't have the V2 darts. They're coming, and I'll put those up as soon as they arrive. But I'm going to go through the weights of the darts. I'm going to just have a quick look at the kits. And then we'll also have a look. I'll section one of these darts. Here's the poor hapless victim, which is going to be dissected for science. I got 100 darts. I got a Retaliator breech and bolt, and there's the replacement bolt, and there's the new breech and short barrel. I didn't have the long barrel. And then I've got the long shot kit, and there's the breech part there, and then there is the barrel and the other bits. Now again, I've not really looked at this in much detail yet. You can see that these are made from machined aluminium, and they're very nicely machined, and they have an O-ring here, and what they do is they essentially convert your standard bolt just into a pusher. So instead of the bolt loading the dart and getting what we call a bolt in barrel system, the end of your bolt just becomes a pusher, which then pushes the half-length Stefan dart into the end of the barrel here like that, just loads it straight in. And the barrel fit is kind of, it's a little bit in between 17/32 and 9/16, which is good. You don't want too tight a barrel fit. And you can see that these O-rings are in a little O-ring groove. They're quite nicely machined, fit like that. Now, this is a system that's been used in airsoft previously, and one of the things that happens in airsoft is that sometimes these O-rings pinch out when they're under pressure and they wear. When I assemble mine, I am going to put a little bit of O-ring grease on here, which I'd recommend you do too. Use a plumber's silicone for that. Anything that's O-ring free, don't use anything that's not rubber safe. The other thing that's recommended is that when you attach this part here, the pusher, to the metal bolt, do put some PTFE tape, white tape around there, just to make sure that you get a good seal and it holds it all in place, because obviously this part is going to be cocking the blaster. You want that a nice tight fit, so it's worth doing that. There's a load of fitting guides online. I'm not going to go through those. What I'm going to look at as well is these magazines, and these are really nice. I wasn't expecting them to be as nice as this. Troy did reassure me and say that they were good, and actually they're really nice quality. They're quite heavy. They hold 20 shots, and they're quite long. They're not aesthetically amazing, but they are very durable, and the plastic feels good quality, easily as good if not slightly better than Nerf. And I've checked them. They load into things like stock Retaliator, so you can put that in there. In fact, this probably will shoot a dart, should we see? Just see if we can load a... See, look, I'm in the NIC, I got a Stefan. Oh, look at that, awesome velocity. It fell out the end. So you can load through those. I wouldn't advise it because obviously it doesn't depress the AR. But this is going to be my victim for this test. This nice Sonic Ice Retaliator. I'm going to replace this. Obviously there'll be the fancy barrel thing. It'll all be in there. All goes in here like that. That will all fit inside. And then this is going to go straight up against my full stage 3 Retal with a 5 kg spring. This will run the same 5 kg spring, and then we'll have a shoot off. Now we need to look at darts. Obviously, if we're going to do some comparative testing, we need an idea of how much these weigh. As I thought, 1 gram. So 1.12 for the first dart. 1.16. 1.18. 1.16. 1.18. 1.18. 1.15. So as you can see, I just weighed quite a few of those, and those are going through all around the 1.15, 1.16 range. You can see that obviously they're very short, and I've got some Gen 3 Koosh here for comparison. So there's a Gen 3 Koosh, and you can see the foam is pretty similar, and we'll dissect one of these little buggers in a minute and you can see what's in them. Now if we put one of these on the scales, remember I weighed all those orange Koosh, so 1.15. Now, for the purposes of velocity testing, these two things will be identical. Now, I know they don't look identical, but the difference is in the distribution of mass. In the Couche dart, 76% of the mass is originating at the very tip here, and then the rest is in the tail. And you can see the tail is much longer. This gives you much less ballistic stability at higher speeds, hence the typical nerfers fishtailing and whirly birding and other things that you see. And that's caused by the centre of pressure overtaking the centre of mass. Now, the reason Stefan darts are so good is because they're very, very short, and it will take an awful lot of pressure to exceed the centre of mass, which is way out here in front somewhere. So we can now open up one of these darts for science. So I'm sorry, Mr. Dart, I really ought to euthanize it first. I'll just kill the brainstem. There we go, I've killed the brainstem, look. So that's a euthanized dart that's not alive anymore. And we can open it up and see what's inside. So you can see that you've got the a solid dome tip, and then I like this, there's a little cavity in the middle. That's cool, that's a clever idea. It's giving you a little bit of deformation in the tip, and it also keeps the mass further forwards. So that's interesting. Now, some people have had some issues with these darts, and I'm going to make my mind up in testing. So there you have it, conventional Couche style foam, and then a similar tip to the ACC, but actually having this hollow centre. So that's something maybe that we haven't seen before. Hopefully that bodes well for accuracy. Okay, in summary, I think the darts are interesting, and I do like the quality of the machining. The quality of the O-rings and their durability remains to be seen. The long shot kit I'm going to put aside for now. I'll come to that at some other point. What I really want to do is I want to get the Retaliator kit in, so I will have a look at some of the build guides on these and make sure that it gets installed really smart. Now, there are some additional parts available for these now, including like a spacer for in here that'll help you fit the barrel straight, and a few other things to help install the barrel and bolt really smoothly. So I'm going to have a look at some of those, make sure that mine's really nicely built. You will see 5 kilogram orange modwork spring versus 5 kilogram orange modwork spring, and there will be a comparable shoot off. We will use Couche for the orange modworks breech, and we'll use these, the artifact darts, in the artifact breech, because these do not load full length darts. Remember that they only go back less distance because you're basically turning the whole head of your bolt into a pusher. So you cannot use this with this. So just remember that, and if you want these, I'll put a link in the description box to the US distributor, and if I can find him, I'll find you the SG distributor, and SG Post are not bad. So if you want those, I'll put the link up, and then we can see what we can see when this is finished.